Good morning. Welcome back. This is Grandma Freeman, and I am planning to make a child's quilt for my granddaughter Olivia. She's turning 9, but this quilt won't be ready for a good while, maybe up to a year. This will be either her Christmas present or her birthday present for next February. I chose a pattern, except it won't be this bright and colorful, I'm afraid. It will be made with this felt material, which is material left over from nightgowns and pajamas that I have made in the past. And it's not, at this point, it's not as many different colors as this is showing. And I may have enough here of what I just showed you to complete the top of this quilt. So this, I'm still in the planning stage. The last video I made was about gathering your materials and equipment that you need. And I chose this thread. I think I'll use the large spools first to sew the quilt squares together. Now, the one thing about this pattern right here, this is the Sunny Sawtooth quilt, and it's in, I'll show you the cover of the book. And so it calls for quite a bit of fabric, but most of it is 16 inches, which is, very small. And then 75 inches of the red marble fabric. And I'm going to use this fabric. This is a felt for making pajamas. I have made a pair of pajamas. I think I used that. And this calls for 75 inches. So I have enough of that. And I think I'll use it for the binding. I'm not sure yet. So I'm saving that large piece, and I'm going to make squares out of this smaller piece right here. And that's my next step is to make the squares. And it also calls for, okay, assuming you have a fabric that is 43 inches in width, and it says a seam allowance of 5/8. If you can see that right there, 5/8. But most quilts are made with 1/4. And I found this template. It was for a poinsettia quilt. This one is exactly 6.5 inches and on each plane. And this darker piece is for 3.5. Now, some of this fabric, I don't have enough. You can see here, that's not going to work. By the way, this fabric was the fabric I used to make Brianna's bathrobe some years ago when she was small. And so in order to use this fabric, I'm going to use the 3.5 inch square and then put 4 pieces together in order to make the 6.5 inch template. Now I'm not going to cut this out. I'm going to make the template from a piece of cardboard, which was the back of a tablet. And so that's going to work. You can see it's just right for that. I'm going to make 2 templates to begin with. And one is going to be 3.5, and the other one is going to be 6.5. And this is exactly, the large one is exactly 6.5 inches, and the smaller one is 3.5. And that allows for a 1/4 inch seam. And that's what usually quilters use when they sew their fabric together. And I have some ideas, which I won't go into now. I'll just show you when I get to that point. And right now, this is all the fabric I have. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. But this calls for quite a bit more because of the multicolors. And at this point, I'm going to see how many 6.5-inch squares I can get from what I have here, and saving this for the binding. And so it'll be in the quilt, in the binding, and also some of the squares. And then when I get to the point where I have to use smaller pieces to make the 3.5-inch squares, I'll start on that. And then I'll see if I need more fabric. But this is all felt fabric, so I don't want to use any other. The one problem I can see, but I don't think it's going to make any difference, these two fabrics right here. See if I can show you these two right here with the angel and the little flowers. These are slightly stretchy, but I don't think that's going to make a difference. I'll have to think about that before I proceed. Anyway, this is the Sunny Sawtooth quilt, and it's just big enough to put on a cot, or you can extend it into a small twin bed. Olivia has she's in the top bunk of a bunk bed, so she doesn't need a very big quilt, just to cover the top of it. So we'll see where I'm at when I get this all figured out and planned. And my next step, as I told you, is going to be making my templates and starting on the 6.5-inch squares. And I think there's enough material there to get a few and of these two. And then we'll see, and maybe some of this other material. But these right here, these two fabrics, I'm going to have to make the 3.5-inch squares. And I'll see how many of those I get to. Well, anyhow, so the next video will be showing you how to make the squares with the template. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe. Bye now.